Tenzin.
You've destroyed me.
Boom!
Connects with two! Asuna there on the counter. The Cosmic Divide is going to throw things apart.
And this pace, the A-ramp re-clear, it's too fast. For 100 Thieves, and that mid-ship that wasn't broken should be the nail in the coffin.
A complete dismantling in the second half. 100 Thieves won one round. Absolute cinema.
Today we're talking 100 Thieves versus Sentinels, and we're going to take a look at the second half of Split, where 100 Thieves only won one round on their attack side of Split. Now, we already know that Sentinels' defense side is very good on this map. I've made multiple videos about that already, but 100 Thieves also did some stuff that I was kind of like, wait, what? We're going to start here with the pistol round, which I would say is more about good Sentinels than bad 100 Thieves, but let's take a look at it anyway. And the first thing I really want to talk about here, whilst we just wait for 100 Thieves to kind of go around the map, they start in kind of a bit of a default here, is we're going to end up in an A retake. And why do we see so many retakes on a pistol round, right? You do seem to get teams playing for that a bit more in general. So why is that a good idea? Well, of course, the main idea in my mind behind it is that, of course, you have less utility on a pistol round, right? You just don't have full kits of utility very often. And so what that means is that your attacking side is often going to use their bits of utility to take the site, right? When they actually come to the site, they're going to use this, you know, a decent majority of the stuff that they've got. And that means that when you go for the retake, if you haven't used much of the stuff that you've got, if you still got a nade and a paranoia and little bits of utility like that, what that means is you can then go for retakes where your opponent doesn't have that much utility, like we've seen there, 100 Thieves using their Fade Haunt, using their nade on the raise. And now Sentinels can go into this retake, but they've still got stuff, right? They've still got this paranoia, they've still got the nade and the boombot, they've still got a flash and a snakebite to use for this retake, whilst 100 Thieves, they do still have a bit of Gecko utility. This is kind of, again, the advantage of Gecko, of course, is that you can just keep picking it back up, but they don't have a ton of stuff, particularly for the players that are actually close on site, because whilst Bang does have a snakebite, he's in no man's land, and so it's just these four, and Sentinels now are going to fast flood and do a really good job.
Pistol defense, just playing a retake. It's going to be coordinated. It's going to be nice. What can 100 Thieves do to disrupt this? There's the nade to clear hell. The flash out.
I mean,
He jumped into the nade!
5 pieces of utility used in an attempt to retake that.
Oh!
I mean, it's calculated.
He's snappy with it.
It's surgical.
It really was very, very good by Sentinels. And so what do we have here overall then? So we've got actually 3 players coming in from CT and 2 coming in from Heaven. Now, this one is a bit of a weird one. And normally when you got into this kind of post-punt and these 2 players like maybe a bit late, we kind of did almost a 2-man site exec in a way. You normally might get some fighting in towards ramp, right? The thing is we don't in this one. And maybe one of the reasons why is Sentinels are normally so fast to this ramp play. In fact, in the very last round of this game, they showed that, right? They get here often really, really fast and fight this. So maybe 100 Thieves saw that was coming and just wanted to avoid it. I don't know. Sentinels don't go for it anyway. But now our util ends up like this, right? We're going to get the snakebite we see in here coming in towards the back site. We flash down elbow with the paranoia. The boombot's going in there. The nade is going to come across here. And Boostio is going to jump into it, as Baby Bay says. I don't really know what Sassy's doing with this flash, where he like sends it this way and then brings it this way and then ends up flashing like down here. I'm not quite sure why he did that, if that's planned or if that's just part of what's going on. But you see that we end up in this spot where Boostio is then trying to dizzy flash back and try and punish these guys, and he does end up hitting a flash or two, but he runs through the wall, so he gets decayed, and then he runs into the nade, so he dies from doing it, right? So although the flash does hit, then whilst that's going on, the sky flash has hit these guys, and now we've got both Zekan and John swinging together on these two and getting 2 kills there. So the timing is impeccable from Sentinels. Really, it's just really good all round. They get into a 5v2. Obviously, jumping into the nade helped them a little bit there, but it's still really, really good by Sen. And obviously, they've just ran this so much that, you know, it's very difficult to stop. Okay, now let's come to the bonus round, and we're going to start talking about some of the things that 100 Thieves did that was like, what? And this one is perhaps the biggest example of it, because I could not believe this when I watched it back, exactly what happened here. So 100 Thieves, they end up in a good spot in this round, right? They are going to manage to take mid control. They're going to manage to come into here towards B main as well. Cryo's already in there, as you can see. And they're going to destroy John QT's camera here. They're going to deny some information. The dog is coming back over towards Bang just down here. But you see, we end up in a pretty good spot for 100 Thieves. You know, there's still plenty of time left on the clock. They're in a decent position, right? They destroy the camera there. They destroy a trip here on B as well. You know, now they're lacking info in towards B. And now they're going to come towards vents as well, right? So we've got B main control. We've been pretty deep into mid. We're going to come into vents. But now Bang is going to swing up, right? This is the thing that I want you to consider. I really want you to consider this. We know they aren't in B main. We have walked up into mid, right? And we're starting to clear this, and we're coming into vents soon. So we've cleared a lot of mid as well, right? We're in a good spot. We've got plenty of time left. And Bang is going to swing through this smoke and die, right? Not only is he going to swing through the smoke and die, though, because really, it's worse than that. Because here's the thing. We've got EU here in mid, right? He's here in mid. And he's going to throw a Fade Haunt up here, right? And again, we know that they're not in B main. We know that they aren't being, you know, super aggressive in mid here. So it makes quite a bit of sense that Sentinels might try and be aggressive here. Anyway, this is a really nice Fade Haunt that we're going to see come over the top. But Bang is going to swing. And again, we'll go frame by frame for you here. He's going to swing before this Fade Haunt comes out and before it lands, right? So just here, he's going to swing out. There he is. He's out. And now, if we take a look, he's fully out of the smoke. The Fade Haunt has not landed, right? Sassy is actually turning around, I think, because of the noise here of the Fade Haunt is about to land. But then he has the fight with tens. He loses the fight with tens just there. And then the Fade Haunt lands. And it does find tens, right? So one of two things would have happened had he waited for that Fade Haunt. Either Sentinels shoot it. But then even if they shoot it, they're going to make the gun noise is going to come from right next to you. And at which point, if someone is up here in this kind of round, you probably, and you've got all this other control, you know that this is two players. And as soon as you know that two players are here, you might be able to infer that one player is here as well. And then as soon as you've inferred that and you've had all this B control, you're just going to end up going B and you're in a good spot, right? That's if they shoot it. If they don't shoot it, Tens just gets revealed and he just is a free kill, right? So what are we doing? What are we doing? And they end up winning this round, so it, you know, didn't cost them in the end, but little decisions like this is like, what? Next up, round number 17, which is kind of a weird one here for 100 Thieves, because they're down 10-6. They actually decide to kind of force here, basically go for a Stinger force, as you can see by the credits that they've got left, and it doesn't go that well.
Rocket for the speed up. And this time you see an adjustment in the call. The 1-3-1 has been set aside for now, as it seems like they want to go a little bit faster B with the Nightfall. Whoa. And the Prowlers. They're trying to get some space.
No.
He still gets a kill on Asuna. Tens is there to help. How much more can they do as Bang opens up the site, but Zelsis is there. He's gonna drop the ball!
Okay, so this one, I don't really get the theory behind it that much, right? Let me explain. So the first thing, the first kind of problem we've got is that Bang, I think, is late to this, right? You can already see we're going for a fast B exec, and our Viper is in spawn, right? Running back across because they put down the wall on A. But really, even more so, we would hope, and obviously this is a bit hindsight Harry, but obviously if we did have this Viper orb in towards B, which is a very common orb that teams do, right? Specifically if we're going for like a B exec, it would have helped a lot to have that orb, right? To make sure that these players, you know, when they're in these kind of positions, it doesn't work for them, right? But I don't really get the idea. You know, forget the Viper orb. Like, I don't get the idea. So they go for this Haunt in mid. It reveals Zelsis just there, right? So they know he's here now. They then Fade ult him. But this is what I don't get. We're Fade ulting this, and then EU's actually going to go back to B main. He doesn't even follow up on it, you know, and try and push Heaven himself. They then come back to B main. But surely you think that this Fade ult is just going to push Zelsis into your exec. Which it does, right? Like, yeah, obviously he turns and he puts down a snakebite and he turns and runs away. And so then they try this exec. And again, this exec is just essentially a Dizzy Flash. There's literally nothing else that they did. And you might be like, oh, well, it's only an eco. But it's not an eco, remember, because they have no credits left. So they're really trying to win this round. You know, this is a very important round to win. Our exec ends up being a Dizzy Flash, which does flash. But still, but then when we're actually blast backing out, it's a good paranoia here by tens, which catches everyone, which basically just destroys the exec right there and then. But look at the map when, like, Asuna is actually coming out. Like, we've pushed Zelsis in, like, he's now a part of this fight because we Fade ulted him. And we're doing a full B exec. Like, were we planning on, like, pinching these people? Like, this might work if there's no one on B and there's, like, two people heaven. Right? If that's the exact setup they've got, yeah, this round can work. But if not, you're just, whether it's John holding down B here with Cypher Trips, whether it's, you know, like this kind of setup here, more aggressive with Tens and Sassy, and someone isn't having, like, I don't know what was meant to happen here. I really don't know. And as I said, like, it's literally just a dizzy, right? Because the thing is, our fade is still running back here, you know, from doing the fade ult. So we don't have any fade util in there. Obviously, our Astra is just smoking. We've got one Gecko flash, and, you know, there's no, like, Viper mollies with it either. I mean, because it looked like Bang, you know, got the call last second anyway. So he's, like, just trying to catch up in the round in general, it seems. And he does end up getting 2 kills, but now the kind of timing is gone. All of Sentinels are now here as well, right? So we're all here now. And, yeah, Celsius gets pushed onto the B site, and fittingly, he's the one that wins the round. And then in the very next round, they have an idea that I've seen them run before that I don't really like either, if I'm going to be honest with you. And it doesn't work again. So in this one, we start off with a bit of a default again, coming in towards mid, creating a bit of pressure on Celsius, which is something that they like to do. But again, like, you know, we throw a bit of util out there, but nothing really comes of it. You know, Celsius is just still chilling in heaven. He's still watching it. He's still fine. We eventually come back towards A. And they start off this round okay. Right, we're going to end up going 1-for-1. We end up coming all up towards ramps here in a second. This is off a timeout as well. Now they're kind of on an eco because, you know, they kind of forced the last one with the stingers. It didn't work. So what we'll see in this one in a second is we're going to end up going 1-for-1 just there. So this is good, right? 4v4, you take that. Now John's under some pressure, right? This is not a bad spot. But what they do from here, I have questions.
Asuna falls, and the trips that you were referring to are still up in play.
And there's no nade to break him now, so this is going to be tough to walk into main here.
Lucio's got the utility ready. Sasi just respects it.
He's so good.
Wisely so.
He's so good.
They invested the Seekers here. That's a deep pit, too.
Wow.
Sasi gets caught by Thrash.
This is so good. It's planted for heaven, and they didn't have to go through A main at all.
Now the defense is kind of trapped. You can't really explore heaven. There's a lot of shot at this here. Cryo has a Phantom too.
Oh, the timing from Tyson.
That was really, I mean, that was their opportunity. Bang picks it up, and it's instantly dropped again.
So yeah, this looks like a cool, innovative play, but I really don't like it. And obviously we saw that the round didn't work, but let me explain. It's not just because it doesn't work, it's because I just think theoretically it doesn't make that much sense, right? So they come and take heaven. This is good, right? We're in a 4v4, we're fine, we're putting pressure on the site, good. All up to this point, no problem. Now the first thing I would say is sending Wingman out to plant right here across the site when we have no site control. Again, if John swings this a tick earlier, he can kill Wingman potentially for free, right? Also, Sassy, I don't think the smoke is down yet. You know, looking by it, doesn't look like it is. Sassy has the chance to kill it as well. At which point, you're in big trouble, right? So that's something that maybe could go wrong, that doesn't go wrong for 100 Thieves. They're then going to Viper's Pit and Gecko. I've got no problem with this, right? Okay, you need to win the round. Go for your ults. Fine, whatever. And you might be like, at this point, oh, well, they're in a really good spot, right? They've got the ult here, so, you know, like, this is going to be hard for people to cross. It's planted for heaven. We've got people in heaven. This is good, right? But it's not good. It's not good. And let me explain why. Because this Viper's Pit in this scenario isn't that useful. And we see that because Celsius just runs past it. Right? Like we can know that this Viper's Pit isn't that useful because Celsius just runs past it. And the reason for that is because you can't really be here stopping people running through it because you haven't cleared this out. Right? And so you're going to be worried that if you're standing here and like actively stopping people coming in, well, you're just going to get pinched from behind and maybe die. Right, so you don't want to do that. So really, your only chance of stopping people here is hoping to spam them at the right point as they're crossing across. Right, that's really your only hope. And we see that play out because Celsius is able to just run past that part of the pit, right? He puts a snake bite down here, clever by Celsius, puts a snake bite so that he can't be swung himself, and then just runs past it. And now he's part of the retake, right? When hopefully we were hoping to deny it. The other problem that you've got here for 100 Thieves is that by having this post plant in here, this is not where you want to be, right? Because there could be people come in this way. There could be people come in this way, you know, through the pit. Tens gets a kill from doing that. There could be people on the flank coming at you this way, and there's going to be pressure from on the site. You know that as well because you haven't cleared the site, right? So there's literally pressure coming in from potentially every angle. You have to be worried about literally every angle right? And we're not playing a Sentinel, so a flank could be a problem also, right? Like, that's not where you want to be in a post plant. But that's pretty much the post plant we're most of the time going to end up in this spot, right? So what ends up happening is they do start using some nice util here in CT, right? They use a mosh pit. They got the nice C's in here as well, right? One of them's just been detained. Okay, we're getting some nice delay in here. And then Boostio, well, you're going to think that Boostio is like just trolling here, right? When he ends up swinging out here. But the problem is their post-spawn position is awful. And the thing is, you might be like, well, where's the rest of the team, right? Why is no one else coming with Boostio? But again, they can't because they have to be, everyone else has to be worried about all the other angles, right? So yeah, Boostio is on his own because we have to check for other things, right? We're worried about everything else. So he just ends up swinging into 3 people, and yeah, his timing might not be great there either. You know, he kind of swings just as all the util fades. And then, this is really good by Sen. Okay, they get the Cypher ult. They know that they're all in heaven. They tap the spike. This is really good timing by Tens. He waits for them to tap the spike, because again, you know now they're going to be panicking, and they're going to have to come down here. So it's good by Tens here. Good recognition of the timing, what's going on in the round. Takes that timing as they tap the spike. Just good stuff. And then, obviously, they clean up here at the end. Just, again, good by Sen. But I don't think the idea from 100 Thieves is very good. So look, 100 Thieves, I actually thought they looked pretty decent on Icebox. There were some nice things that they did on Icebox. So that's still giving me a bit of hopium. And Sentinels are very good at split defense sides. So, you know, I'm not going to completely freak out against worse teams. I'm sure some of these ideas work. But I am a bit worried that some of these ideas, to me, don't make that much sense.